Did you know that the MCU has had a Christmas-ish movie for almost 10 years? I didn't. Anyway, yeah, Iron Man 3 is sort of Christmassy. It takes place around the holidays. Kind of. I don't know. I'm kind of reaching here. But anyway, so today I, the film watcher, shall be ranking all three MCU Christmas sort of things, projects, from my least favorite to my favorite. In last place is Iron Man 3. I do not like this movie. I kind of get why some people like it. It's not without its good elements. The action is cool. There's more of it than there was in the last movie. Tony is a lot more likable than he was in Iron Man 2. And I like his little interactions with this one kid. They're just nice together. Oh, and the climax is pretty cool as well. But I just don't like this movie. I think the extremist plotline is really dumb. I really just could not care less about it. It's such a lame idea. Heating people up. Who cares? I don't care. The villain that comes with it, Aldrich Killian, is one of the most generic and boring MCU villains, and that's saying a lot. The MCU has a lot of generic and boring villains. This guy might take the cake. He is so forgettable. There's nothing about his personality that's memorable. His motivation is ridiculous and stupid. It's worse than, like, a lot of MCU villains' motivations. He's very similar to other characters like I don't know, Riddler from Batman Forever. That guy, I mean, he had dumb motivations, but at least he was entertaining. Syndrome from The Incredibles. He had good motivations and he was entertaining. What do you have, Aldrich Killian? You have nothing. He's a terrible villain. Speaking of which, the Mandarin. I don't get what the thought process was here. Like, you had a cool idea for a villain, and then you do this twist that not only makes him completely illegitimate as a villain, but it also makes it so, like, you could have had anyone be in that role. The Mandarin could have been any character. You could have invented a name for all I care, but it wouldn't have mattered because, like, the Mandarin as a title is completely inconsequential. Why'd they have to drag in, like, a famous Iron Man villain and then just redo him in Shang-Chi? And, like, so much better. But either way, the way they do the twist is really dumb. Like, okay, you have this menacing villain who's really not even that great throughout the first two-thirds of the movie, and then, uh-oh, he's just a goofy actor. Ha 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 ha, and he's making terrible jokes. What? That's such a stupid idea. I don't get it. And then you have like this plot line about Tony and his PTSD from the first Avengers movie. That's a good idea. I like that. They could have done something with that. But they didn't, of course. Which is one of the main reasons why I don't like this movie, because they just kind of drop that plot line, like, I don't know, something like halfway through the movie. They do some stuff with it in like the first third, and then a little bit, and then it's just kind of gone in favor of this goofy fire people climax. Are you kidding me? Like, this was such a good idea. You replace it with fire people blowing fire at Tony Stark. Really? It's just such a lame idea. Like, I think that the PTSD thing is a lot more interesting than everything going on with the villains in this movie. If it had been the main plot line, I think it would have been much better if executed correctly. And I mean, the movie still would have had bad villains, but you know what? That was just, I don't know. They might have been too far gone for that. Mm. And then one more thing I want to talk about here. The ending of this movie is kind of dumb when you watch it in the context of other MCU movies. Like, Tony, he's like, they resolve the PTSD thing, even though it's barely a conflict throughout the movie. Um, he like destroys all his suits. That's kind of interesting. I don't feel that this movie earned that. But then, the next time we see Tony in Age of Ultron, he's just doing the same stuff again. I get that he likes doing this Iron Man stuff, but, like, that kind of just removes the entire point of the ending of this movie, and heck, this movie in general. So when I go back and watch this movie now, it just feels completely inconsequential. And Shang-Chi did not redeem it. At least I don't think so. I mean, really, the only tie that this movie has to Shang-Chi is Trevor Slattery, which honestly, you could have written out of Shang-Chi, and it would have been perfectly fine. The quality of the movie would barely have changed. Heck, it might even have gotten better. Actually, I didn't mind Trevor in the movie, but he added nothing to the plot. What? So, I don't know. I do not like this movie. Every time I go back and try to rewatch it, I think, maybe I was being too harsh on this movie. And then I watch it, and I was like, oh, no, I wasn't. It's not good. So I kind of get why people like it, but I really just don't. I don't know. Number 2 is going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. This one was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not like a great MCU project. It's not like one of the funniest things ever. But, you know, it's a fun time with a couple of boneheads trying to, you know, do something nice for one of their fellow boneheads at Christmas time. How nice is that? I think Drax and Mantis are really fun in this special. They have really good chemistry. And Kevin Bacon, I tell you, he's clearly having a lot of fun playing himself here. It shows. It's just fun watching Drax and Mantis realize, like, wait a minute, he didn't actually save an entire town by dancing. What is this injustice? It was fun. And then, like, seeing, you know, Peter's reaction to the fact that they stole Kevin Bacon from Earth. Oh man, there's some good laughs in this one, and I actually really liked the plot point that they had in this movie, like a sort of reveal of sorts. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you've seen the special, you likely know what I'm talking about. I unfortunately had it spoiled for me because I didn't stay up until 3 a.m. to watch this the second it dropped on Disney Plus. I watched it the night it came out. The day it came out, in the evening. Somehow the clip was on YouTube as I was scrolling through my recommended section. Bah, says I. Bah humbug. Anyway, so yeah, it's not great. Surprisingly, I didn't think the soundtrack was all that memorable, but it was also written in 3 days. So, you know what? It's not a big deal. I enjoyed this special, and yeah. But number 1 is going to be Hawkeye. In the years since Hawkeye has come out, I've seen a lot of differing opinions on it. Actually, no, I haven't. Most of the opinions I've seen on Hawkeye say, eh. And I can kind of see where you're coming from with that. Like, it's not a super consequential series. The stakes aren't that high. And, I mean, it's not perfect. Like, there's some flaws here. Kingpin was kind of underutilized, yeah. I really enjoyed him when he was in there. I don't think he was misused, or miswritten, I should say, but I thought he was done really well in the show. Kate Bishop's mom, still not a great twist villain. And yeah, some of the twists are pretty predictable. It is painfully obvious that Lalo Salamanca isn't going to be the actual villain. They're really beating you over the head with a sword on that one. And I don't know, but, you know, despite some of the show's issues, I don't really care, because it's just a fun, entertaining series. I thought the action is good. I think it works really well as a superhero show, because they have, like, well, there's some villain problems, but, like, the tracksuit mafia, not a super serious threat, but they're just fun enough and just not stupid enough that they're actually able to be kind of threatening. And then you got Echo in there, and she's just a cool character with a cool backstory that I actually wouldn't mind seeing more of. With I rewatched the show last month, and it holds up surprisingly well. I like what they did with Yelena. Hawkeye, the 2 Hawkeyes, Clint and Kate, they're just so much fun to watch here. They have great chemistry. And I just like seeing some of the shenanigans they get into, just hanging out, doing Christmassy stuff. Yeah, I like the introduction of Kate Bishop. I liked what they did with Clint, just trying to get back to his family. And there were some really sweet moments there, like with this one scene in particular where he doesn't have his hearing aid on, and one of his kids is calling him, and Kate's like writing down what he's saying. It's kind of sad, but it's sentimental. So I really liked that scene. I think it was done very effectively, and yeah, they just have a nice bond. This one has a good soundtrack. I really like the Christmas music that they use in this show, except Melakaliki Maka. I can't I can't take it with that song. I don't like it. I, I just don't. I don't see the appeal. I don't think it's good. That's a Christmas song that I really don't like. Is this Grinch shirt like fueling something in me? Christmas loathing? I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? I really like Hawkeye. I think it is one of the better Marvel Disney Plus shows. I mean, maybe it's not as good as Loki, but what is? Loki isn't perfect either, but whatever. I really enjoyed this show, and I'm kind of I just like Christmas stuff. I'm a sucker for it. So yeah, I enjoyed this show. Is it flawless? No, no, certainly not. Is it like one of the great TV shows of all time? No. Comparable to Daredevil? Ha! Ha! But no, it is still a really fun time that honestly, if you're in the mood for something holiday-ish, I'd maybe check this one out. Um, if you don't care about anything that's going on, you don't have to continue watching, but you know what? If you didn't like this show, I get it, but as for me, I enjoyed it. Also, I just want to point out, um, in the reveal of Kingpin at the end of episode 5, um, I think playing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, as like he appeared and the credits started to roll, I think that was a brilliant choice. It works so well because the way they did the music at the end of that episode, where it's like kind of the same note going into the bum ba dum ba da ba da, and then it just goes into the song. That was awesome. That was a very cool moment. You knew it was coming. Of course, it was Kingpin. Rewatching the series, the scene in episode 3 where a guy shows up and pats the little Echo on the head, it's like, oh, that's Kingpin. Duh, but I don't know. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this show. That's my ranking of all the MCU Christmas stuff. Put your own list down below if you so wish. And yeah, happy holidays. Keep calm and watch on.